All right, hello everyone. My name is Mitch McQuigg, and today we're going to be doing the Week 2 assignment. The two topics I chose are search and seizure, as well as equal protection. We're going to talk a little bit about what each amendment is, what they cover, and then we're going to wrap it up with just some of the highlights of both of them. So the first one is search and seizure. It's the Fourth Amendment, and it states, the right of people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated, and no warrant shall issue but upon probable cause. It's very important, probable cause. Supported by oath or affirmation, and particularly describing the place to be searched and the persons or things to be seized. So, no right to not have a search. People cannot be searched without probable cause. Also, search warrants are needed without consent from a person, and to get a warrant, the police or whoever law enforcement agency it is, whichever one it is, they only need probable cause to get a search warrant. So they can't just walk into your house and look through all your things, or say, hey, I don't like the way that guy's, what he's doing over there, how he's looking. I want to search his garage. They can't. There's no probable cause. There's no reason for them to enter the house. But once they do have probable cause and they do have a warrant from a judge, they can only search where that warrant states. So let's say they suspect you to have drugs in your garage. That's their probable cause. Maybe they see it or smell it, whatever it may be. They can only look in your garage. If they find drugs, let's say in your living room, somehow they open the door and peek in there, they're not able to use that against you because the warrant says they could only look in the garage. Probable cause also allows police to search or detain people if they find other illegal things, specifically in your car. You can still be charged with it. That kind of goes with what I was saying before with the house. The search warrant only pertains to the section of the house they're talking about. With a car, it's a little more flexible because they could. Essentially, there's probable cause that you're committing crimes in that car, like such as smuggling drugs. You know what I mean? Trying to find. So that's why they can search your whole car, because they can pretty much back up what they're saying, how they needed to search the trunk because their drugs can be hidden in there. They needed to search the glove box because that's an easy place to hide drugs. This doesn't only pertain to drugs, it's just an easier example to kind of explain. And then, oops, a little too far, schools. Schools are actually the only place that don't have the protection against search and seizure, because they're a drug and weapon-free area. They're allowed to search any student or any person on the premises without needing a warrant. They can go through the backpacks for the safety of everyone on campus. All right, next, equal protection. So equal protection, essentially, it's the 14th Amendment. It protects the civil rights and grants citizenship to all people born. It protects the civil rights and grants citizenship to all people born and naturalized in the United States. It's essentially a way to protect minorities in America, because they have a way harder time protecting themselves when it comes to the government. There's not as many of them, right, because they're a minority, so they're not able to really make that much of an impact on laws to pass through the government. So the Board of Education versus Brown is a very popular example of this. It was essentially discrimination in the education system. They had separate black schools, and they found that they were supposed to be equal, and they found that through discrimination, that the black school is actually at a disadvantage for their teaching and the students there. And then so essentially the government didn't abide by any of their laws and allowed the schools to be unequal. They went to court, and somehow the school was found not to be at fault for any wrongdoing, which was pretty insane. But it's a really interesting case. If you want to look it up. Why is this not working? Protective classes. That's essentially what it talks about with the minorities there, the protective classes. The courts protect the groups because they can't protect themselves. Strict scrutiny, it's a 5-step process that the government does. It's kind of like a checklist for new laws that are introduced. So real quick in order, they have the first one's protected liberty, liberty, fundamental, undue burden for those actions, the government interest, and if they can make it less burdensome on the government to accomplish the law that's being passed. All 5 of these have to be checked off, essentially, for the government to push this law through for the minorities. If they can prove a rational basis in the court, then they'll pass a law fairly easily. So, real quick, wrap it up, conclusion. Probable cause is super important when it comes to search and seizures. It's the police's best friend, essentially. Without it, they can't really do a whole lot, but it's pretty easy for them to find a reason to obtain a warrant or just to search your car or you as a person, your belongings, whatever's on your person. Warrants, they're only able to search where the warrant says. They're kind of difficult to get. I mean, they're not super difficult for the police if they have probable cause, but they just take a little bit longer. Protective classes, just a way to protect minorities in the government and pass laws for them to help them. And strict scrutiny, the 5-step process to examine laws that the government does, is how it's kind of the basis of equal protection and what that encompasses. So that's the end of it. I hope you learned a lot and enjoyed. Thank you.